Well, earlier this evening, the U.S. Senate failed to approve the Keystone XL pipeline. It needed 60 votes, but fell just one short.
Politicians have already said that they will bring it up again in January. The fight over this pipeline has been a contentious 6-year-long battle. So what is the Keystone XL pipeline? Good question. Heather Brown joins us right now. So we know some of the pipeline is already built and up and running.
It is. The entire pipeline, just about half of it, is already built. That is the solid yellow line that you see right here. But what we're talking about tonight, the XL part, well, that's a section in the middle, a shortcut, if you will, through Canada, Montana, South Dakota to Nebraska. And that will ultimately bring petroleum from the oil sands in Alberta, Canada, to the oil refineries in Texas. We already have millions of miles of oil and gas pipelines all over the U.S. Why is this one such a big deal?
This one is such a big deal because of what it's going to carry. It's going to carry heavy oil from Canada.
John Abraham is a professor of engineering at the University of St. Thomas.
This frenzy is created because there are two different worldviews. One worldview wants to promote jobs that can be created during the construction of the pipelines over the next 2 years.
This is for Americans, for American jobs, to build an American middle class.
The other political view says we got to care for the environment.
This isn't about the building of a pipeline, it's what's going into it. The filthiest, dirtiest oil.
Supporters say it'll create 42,000 temporary jobs from construction to food services. And a pipeline is much safer than transporting the petroleum by rail.
Is this oil going to come out anyway, even if we don't have a Keystone XL pipeline?
Some of the oil is going to come out, but the Keystone pipeline changes the economics, and it's going to increase the amount of oil that comes out.
Opponents say the pipeline would create only 35 permanent jobs after it's built, and would produce 17% more greenhouse gases than conventional oil drilling.
Well, what makes it worse is it's so hard to get out of the ground. It's a goopy, sticky, tar-like substance, and it takes a lot of energy to get it out of the ground and get it to your car.
The 830,000 barrels is about 4% of our current daily oil consumption.
It's not going to affect oil prices in general, and it'll just be a blip on people's radar screen.
The bill is not passed.
This is not the end. This is going to be brought up again and again and again.
Now, the reason the federal government is even getting involved in this is because this pipeline crosses an international border. Now, if it does eventually pass the House and the Senate and get to the president's desk, it's not clear yet what he'll do. He says he's waiting for a review by the State Department of its potential impact.
And we might see the impact on Mary Landrieu before that. She's that Democratic senator we saw speaking in there, and Louisiana has a lot of oil jobs.
It sure does, and she's got a tough race down there. Democrats thought this might help her out, but we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, they could lose a seat over this.
Yeah, for sure.
Interesting.
Thanks, Heather. If you have a good question for Heather, please email it by going to WCCO.com/links.